Numbers 7 and 8 on my list of 10 awesome, unexpected things about being Catholic. These two that I'm going to talk about today aren't really theological, so to speak. They're not super in depth, but I find them to be very practical things that have helped me in my faith. And the first one is daily Mass. Now, when I first started going to daily Mass, I was still a Protestant pastor. So I wasn't a Catholic. I was considering becoming a Catholic, really feeling drawn to it. And, when you're a pastor at a church, you work on Sundays, obviously in church. So you can't visit a Catholic church. Well, I was feeling drawn towards the church. And so what I would do would be I would take my lunch break from my job at the church and I'd go downtown to our 12:05 daily Mass. I don't know why it's at 12:05, by the way. That seems weird. Why not just make it at 12? Anyway, and I remember walking into this 12:05 Mass, not sure what to expect. I kind of thought there would be maybe 4 or 5 people in this big church. And I was pretty amazed when I walked in and saw, I don't know, there was maybe 70 or 80 people that would come to this Mass. And yeah, some of them were older, but there were also young professionals there. There were moms with little kids. There were all different types of people, college students. And I remember thinking to myself, this is pretty interesting. Well, so the Mass began, and I noticed that the daily Mass was a little bit shorter than the regular Mass, and there wasn't a homily. And, I thought to myself, why are these people coming here? Now, I'm used to, remember, you got to understand, like as a convert, as a Protestant, I was we went to church to hear a sermon typically. That was the main point behind going to church, and great music too. Well, at the daily Mass, there were neither of those things. And yet these people were coming in the middle of the day to come to worship Jesus. And I remember it blew my mind. And I was really having this moment where I thought, could we do this in the type of churches I came from? And I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything like that, but I honestly feel like there's no way in the world people would come to church in the Protestant churches during the middle of the day just to pray, hear scripture, and receive communion. This just wouldn't happen because people are like, well, where's the sermon? Where's the worship music? Where's this? Where's that? People don't come for stuff like that. But yet here at this daily Mass, it was the most important thing. I remember I asked Father Chris one time, I said, why don't you ever preach when you do daily Mass? And his answer to me was really interesting. He said, because I don't want to train people that they always have to come to church to hear me, or that when they come to church, they're going to hear me. It's not about me, he would say. It's about Jesus and the Eucharist. And I remember just being blown away by what that means. And, the truth is, because of the jobs that I have, I don't always get to do daily Mass. It's pretty rare that I get to go to Mass during the week. I try to do it as much as I can. But when I have the ability, I go, because this is like an amazing thing for me as a new Catholic. Something I didn't expect was that the grace that I receive just in going and receiving the sacrament, it's powerful. And what I'm realizing and learning and growing in more and more every day is the amount of grace I receive from the sacrament, not necessarily from hearing a sermon, although I love sermons. It's overshadowing it. So I get more out of just receiving the Eucharist and worshiping Jesus in the liturgy than I do even hearing, some 40-minute sermon or whatever. So that's been amazing. I love daily Mass. And one of the things that I dream about sometimes is what would it be like if I had a job or a situation where that was just my routine, getting to go to Mass every day. That would be amazing. Maybe the Lord will do that someday. I don't know. So then the second thing, and this has become a little bit more usable for me, this one is Catholic radio. Now, I know that might seem strange, like, seriously, Catholic radio? But we have a Catholic radio station here in our town, and it's a great radio station. It's been around for a couple years, and I love it. I listen to it every single day. It's really the only thing on my radio in my car when I'm driving is Catholic radio, because the thing about I used to listen to a lot of Christian radio, of course, but the thing I love about Catholic radio that's different is that, again, it's not sermon based. I can turn on the radio and we can listen to a daily Mass in the morning. So oftentimes when I'm driving to work, I'm listening to a daily Mass so I can at least hear the readings and pray along with the liturgy. But then there's also things like the Divine Mercy Chaplet, and then there's the Rosary being prayed. I love the fact that I can turn on the radio and hear prayers. That's so cool to me. That it's not just, okay, now we're going to hear this guy talk for 40 minutes, and then now we're going to hear this guy talk, and then we're going to hear some, whatever. It's like, no, it's all about helping me grow in the faith. And I love the programs that we get. I know this sounds like a commercial, but it's really not. But it's been awesome. I was cruising around in my 2004 Mustang convertible. I know it sounds great. It's really not that great, but it's a fun car for us. And I had the top down, and I was in my town, and I had our Catholic radio station on, and I had it kind of cranked. I was listening to like Catholic Answers or something like that, and I pulled up at this stoplight, and I'm sitting there, and that's what's playing. And this guy pulls up next to me on the side, and he rolls his window down. I thought, oh no, what's he gonna say? And he leans out the window and he goes, "Hey, I love what you're listening to. God bless." And I was like, yeah, Catholic power, right? It was awesome. And so for me, that's something that I've really appreciated. I didn't expect to, because it just never was really on my radar, but I'm so appreciative of the ministry that gives to me. So daily mass and Catholic radio, these things are number 7 and 8 on my list of 10 amazing things. I hope that you can experience these things too. If you haven't gone to daily mass in a while, and you can, give it a try. I think you'll be amazed at the grace that comes to you. So also, I would love to hear from you guys in my comments about what you think about these things. If these are things that you experience too, maybe if you have a good radio station, or if you get to go to daily mass. I love hearing from you guys and getting to interact with you guys. So next week will be the last week in this series. I'm going to go over the last 2 amazing, awesome, unexpected things about being Catholic. Thanks so much for watching, you guys.